Hi guys, thank you for joining me on Talent Talk. I'm your guest host, Chingaze. This season we have all the shows available in their entirety on podcasts. That's something you should check out. And also just a reminder, this is live and interactive, so if you have any questions for myself or the guest, hopefully the guest, please write them in and we will get to them shortly. There's a bit of a delay. You'll figure it out. Anyway, other than that, if you can like and subscribe to the channel, it helps Gary get better and better guests. Speaking of better guests, today's guest is Mr. Lonni Olson. I know him as an actor and a fine writer and a pretty nice person. We should figure out what else he's up to, what else he does. On a personal note, if I ever grew up, I'd like to be like Mr. Lonni Olson. So please help me welcome the guy I was just talking about.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
I was like waiting. I wasn't sure because I was going to do the dramatic turn into.
You know, I say it twice. So people know I'm bringing you out.
Right. Awesome.
Should I have figured out that you feel a little quiet, and I should have turned up my speakers in that few minutes we had? Meh. Anyway, hey man, thank you for joining us.
To the mic.
You.
Is that better?
We've already discussed you're far too close. Slightly too handsome, but far too close.
I'll go like you.
Where?
There we go.
Range-wise, no. My head's a little bigger than that. We passed like this.
Ships in the night, baby.
I know. I asked you today not to hit on me because it makes me less concentrating on this stuff. And what this is, keeping with the ship theme, is keeping Gary McLean's ship, righted. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying not to sink his show. Not today, anyway. And man, thank you for joining us, first of all.
Well, thanks for having me. I was delighted. It was the second time Gary had reached out to me last year, and unfortunately, timing just didn't work out. So.
Now, were you busy or were we busy?
I was busy that time, and today we were lucky because it hit right at my lunch break. So
okay. Well, feel free to eat while I untether myself from this cord. Just liquid diet now? Is that why?
Coffee.
You're so svelte? Is that what you're doing?
Yes. It's okay. The camera, you lose 20 pounds when you sit close.
That can't possibly be right.
You don't get a full look at me.
I like how your shirt's blending into part of the background. That's how you just break the silhouette.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a sniper, like an acting sniper. I thought this was more taupe, like my walls. Yeah, I know I pointed at my door, but you get it. Yeah. Hey, man, you want to burst into questions?
You want me to ask you some questions?
Yeah, if you could start. Did you not write notes on this?
I have notes, but they're more like talking points in case you ask me a question.
Why didn't you send me those talking points so then we'd be on the same channel? Well,
it's interesting that you bring that up. Is when we met.
Hey man, how did we meet? Do you remember? Can you go back that far?
We met at the plaza going to see The Room.
Lord, that was where we first met?
Yeah, we were both, I believe I was wearing a cheap tux type top and you were dressed up to the nines.
I don't remember dressing up very well, but I mean, there was a time when I tried harder. So maybe. And I remember Brendan was there because I was his date. He was my date, whatever.
Trevor Campbell. Okay,
cool. And yeah, man, The Room, that was insane. I hadn't even heard about it before then.
I was fortunate. I had a buddy that knew all about it, so kind of went with a pocket full of plastic spoons and was ready to kind of engage in it. I missed the whole Rocky Horror Picture Show because when I was younger, I wanted to go badly, but some of the older friends of the family told me that they would destroy me if I went, and I got too scared to ever go. And it was a missed opportunity. So,
what is that? Well, it still plays, first of all. But what did you mean by? What did they mean? What did you think they meant by English? Right? Destroy you.
Well,
with toast.
When it's your first time, they throw toast and such at you, right?
Okay.
And when you're 13, you just don't want that. You just want to kind of go along for the ride. You don't want.
Oh my God. I don't know at 13 if you should have watched that, but I don't think you should be exposed. It's like I watched A Clockwork Orange way too early.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, no.
Yeah, Rocky Horror would have been like perfect when you're 13.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. I still have a thing for Tim Curry, so maybe. Who knows? What? Okay. I got derailed. I got derailed there. I'm sure there was a few things I wanted to talk about in that thing. Back to the room for just 1 second. After we started getting into it, our row of people.
Yes.
We were such sort of funny, witty, loud idiot, maybe all actors, that I kind of remember our row being the most vocal and people kind of playing off what we, after about 30 minutes, we started seeing all the tropes and all the nonsense in the film. I remember that. Now that could just be,
It helps that we had Trevor Campbell, who's also a writer and a stand-up comedian and improviser. So I think spurring on from him and Brandon and yourself.
Yeah.
I just had plastic spoons. So.
Okay. You brought something to the party.
Brought something to the party.
I have worked on a film with the other guy from the room, by the by, but I haven't seen it yet. Apparently he was great in it. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing that thing. Shout out to a movie that I don't remember the title of. Anyway, I was going to ask you, man, right to the standard questions, basic questions while I drink my comically large glass of water. Mug, some would say. I wouldn't. How do you start your day, buddy? Oh, that's like military grade.
It is huge. Start the day. Well, Shingeis, thank you for asking. I usually wake up and have some water. It's very important to keep hydrated.
Yeah, first thing.
And then I jump to the coffee, and then
just slow down.
First
thing, I mean,
water.
So I'm listening.
Yeah, you just have to do this, and I know you're listening.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And then I do 20 minutes of meditation.
Cool, man. Every day, pretty much.
Every day, twice a day, 20 minutes.
When's your second break? Your second 20 minutes?
Well, in a perfect world, it would be in the afternoon, but just because of my erratic schedule, sometimes it's at 4 o'clock and sometimes it's at 6, 7.
Okay. Can you, is it too personal to like walk through what that sort of is?
Well, it's
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, no. I follow the transcendental meditation. So we call it TM.
Okay. So that's the David Lynch stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
Super into. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
It's, I have found so many benefits once I started doing it, as far as being able to be a little bit calmer in my life, being able to have a little more energy at some times, and certainly it doesn't hurt the creative aspect. David Lynch is 100% correct when he talks about how it kind of brings creation
to the forefront of the old brain.
Yeah,
the old brain box. See, now that's funny, man, because I really think of you as being one of the calmest people I know. You know what I mean? And not in like some people, sometimes they describe me as being half asleep because mostly my energy is used for getting in their faces and then I have to shut down almost. But just being like genuinely kind of nice, calm, whatever that is. So yeah, I've sort of always known you as that. So how long have you been doing this meditation malarkey for?
The meditation is actually quite new. It was my Christmas present to myself this year. So February.
Well,
prior to that, no, I mean, calmness, you have to work on it. Like, man, I'm an Aries, so, I'm like chill until I'm not.
One of my questions, but it's down about 6. It says foo-foo, and there's a question mark. It's like, is Lonni foo-foo?
Well, I'm a water ox, so I think that tempers the...
All right. My mom was like that, man. I'm a Virgo, which means we're pretty particular and we're kind of artistic and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, should it be when I got popped out or should it be 9 months earlier when my dad interfered with my mom? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? That would make me like a near Scorpio. I don't know. What is that? December? I don't know.
These are answers to your questions I don't have for you, guys.
Well, you seem to be all over it. So who else am I going to ask? Anyway, hey man, have you also directed stuff? I feel like such an idiot because I know you as an actor and a writer.
Yeah, well, I've directed some theater, very limited, but I had a very good experience working with Morpheus Theater.
Okay.
In Calgary, and then video, like small video projects. And I did have I've directed a couple of short films, and there was an attempt at a feature film in mid 2000s that went completely off the rails and kind of destroyed me for a little while. But I think that's all part of the learning curve. So,
okay. You ever any ideas of revisiting that particular story, or just doing a feature anyway?
Oh yeah, no. Most of the stuff that the projects that I have lined up at the moment through writing are, I think, for the most part, tagged for me to direct as well.
Okay.
But still trying to write them in such a way that it doesn't have to be me.
Okay. Described enough that no one can ruin it. I like that. I feel like that's more a camera thing, like what you get in the can. Do you know what I mean? Like, good luck. I think you've frozen, but it's a damn fine look. It was very quizzical. You froze in mid full thought.
Well, yeah, it happens. In the real world too.
There's an age, and then yeah. But okay. Well, let me know. Let me know if there's ghosts where you are, and then let me know if you need a mildly brown. Don't interrupt, Lonnie. We talked about this. This is my show. I'm the one with the suspenders. You got right in the nip. I wasn't prepared for that. Let me know if you need a mildly talented, mildly brown, mildly working actor. Hey, man, back to the questions. Why? Just why? That's not a question. We can get to that. It might lead into. You want to tell me about one of your first gigs, and that might tell me why.
Oh man, are you talking like paying or like the first sort of?
No, it doesn't have to be.
I was fortunate because back in the day they still cared about arts in school, so we were, if you gravitated towards that as a kid, it was there for us,
Okay.
I think the first thing I ever did was played Sinterklaas in grade 2 or 3.
Oh, did you say centaur?
Yeah, Sinterklaas. It was like they had all these different Santa Clauses from different countries. And
okay. I was like, I thought he could play. Maybe your first gig was my first gig, which was playing Baby Jesus's manger, just because I had a lot of hair.
Right? No. So yeah, no, right. we were fortunate because we had a lot of that. Plus, we had there was a lot of play. Like we back in the day would go. Remember, just always kind of playing characters. You kind of see a movie, then you act out the characters at school. You keep that going. Very fortunate. My mom was a seamstress, so our house always had sort of cool costumes for Halloween. We repurposed those.
How many kids were you in the house?
I'm the youngest of 3.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Seamstress, very cool, man.
And they're all in the arts as well. So.
Okay. Again, I've been trying to do this new thing with this show. It's kind of what Gary does, is listen. But you know what it does? It throws me right off my damn game. Because I had some stuff for what you had said.
Yeah.
Was it gold or just tin? Who knows? We'll never know. Okay. Hey, man, how about your first couple of gigs? Shit, it's happened. Right? I'm repeating myself.
And then I was also fortunate because in high school we had a young teacher come in that really wanted to push main stage. So I was on Okotoks, and he really came in. And at the time, it's so funny because you're a teenager and you think this is an adult, and legit, the guy was 22, 23 years old. Name was Jim Semp, and he came in and he kind of built this main stage program. So we were fortunate to kind of be at the beginning of that.
Okay.
So
That's
a lot of money went into those productions. So we were, and a lot of mentorship as far as the dancing teachers, singing teachers, a lot of the school, because it was a composite high school, had a lot of, from the visual communications class, doing the pamphlets and playbills, to the construction class, helping build the sets, that sort of thing.
So the kids had to sort of do, or were allowed to do parts of everything.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
And we were pushed on the whole idea of self-directed learning. So the opportunity was there for the next. We did Greece, was the first one we did, and then we did Oklahoma.
What did you play in Greece?
What do you think?
I'd have, the only name that's popping in my head is Rizzo. I'm having a hard time picturing all the Grease characters. But were you the main? You the main?
I was Kaneki.
Kaneki, oh man, that's not the guy. Was the guy from Taxi? Did he play?
Yeah, he did. Yeah? And just like in the movie, how the song was taken away from him, in the play, the song was taken away from me.
Oh no.
The worst part is, like, as a kid, like, I had long hair.
That stings, man. That stays with you.
It totally stays. All of it stays with you. It's the same as, like, and the reason was I was a little shy to sing. And it goes back to when you're in grade 2 and you want to be in the choir, and the choir teacher's like, "Oh no, you're tone deaf. You should just mouth the words." So you carry that, right? It's horrible because, like, everyone, I don't know, that teacher kind of ruined that aspect. And it's still, as I'm getting older, I'm still fighting to kind of fix that so that I can someday actually sing.
Send her children all the therapy bills. It's very weird. Like, I can't remember. I think it was grade 9 that I failed art. I got an 8.5% or something in art. That's like, but I know how to draw. It's just a weird thing that sometimes teachers mess with you. And I love that thing of when you're a kid, even when you're like in your teens, and you look at that person, you're like, oh man, they got it all going together, right? They're driving a Miata. They're working in this old building. Guys got slacks. I just remember going to camp. And you'd have those camp counselors, and we would rely, this is the 80s. You would rely on them with your life. You're out in the woods, starting a fire, like whatever it is. And then it was just a couple years ago, I was like, those kids were 17. I mean, like, we were 10. They were 17. God bless them. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we were fortunate because, like, when we had a lot of young teachers, and I think they were progressive in the way that they're like, okay, we're gonna offer some stuff up to these young humans and give them a space to deliver, and certainly I think everyone did. I was fortunate as well to have, like, my mom involved with all the costuming
in the schools as well. Okay.
Yeah, she came in. I think it was a little overwhelming there were some young humans that were meant to be doing a lot of the costuming, but time got away from them. So my mom came in at the 11th hour to kind of help them. Very and then nice. She stayed on. And she stayed on like a decade after I left. Working at my school.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of that actor's name. I can only remember the character, Ron Swanson, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't need his name, but that chap. I read his book. Why can I remember his wife's name? Megan Mullally. But he was so huge into the sort of the theater scene. And when he couldn't work as an actor, like, he just do carpentry, he'd do that. He became invaluable. Mm-hmm. And he'd get hired as that and then sometimes fill in. And I think it's great to know more skills.
Anyway. It's hard, though, because I've had friends that in theater, especially when you're starting out, if you have a skill like carpentry, one of my friends, he kind of emerged with a bunch of other people, but he had that skill. So pretty soon he's the one that's saving everybody when they're embarking on these shows, and he's building their sets. And it doesn't take long for people to just see them as that. And they miss that there's another artist there that, wants to do something with the show.
True. Okay. So that's a good tip for the kids. If you have any skills, keep them to yourself.
No, I say share, but also let people know that, you have other skills as well.
Right. Well, that's what I did with Gary. I was part of that first season being an interviewee, sitting exactly where you are in front of that glass cabinet. And then later I was like, Gary, I don't like this. I want to be on the other side of the screen. And he's like, we can make that work. Boom, bada bing. All it took was a pair of suspenders and some gel. Hey, man, I want to ask you, since I think of you as a very professional actor person, that's your brand, right? Yep. I didn't say serious.
I should have worn a turtleneck. I didn't know we were going down the serious professional route.
Well, I do think of you often, and I think of you as a professional.
Thank you.
How about, shut up, how about you tell me how you prepare for an audition? What do you think? You think that's valuable to the people out there?
Sure. Well, you know, Shingeis, it changes as older I get. I think
Okay.
the first thing is always learning the lines. No, don't laugh, man. I have seen people not learn lines and do auditions, and you're like, why? Like, what are you doing?
But yeah, but guy. Listen, if you're not part of the union, and then they go through the all the actors who are part of the union, and then they get into the barrel, and then at the end of the barrel, sometimes they just give you a thing. They're like, here's a page and a half, and it's like it's due tomorrow, but so early, you're going to be doing it now. And you're like, oh, cool, I have an hour with this. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not learning those lines.
Oh,
you are getting the essence of the lines, but you're not learning them.
Yes and no. I mean, there's ways now, certainly, that I could learn that very quickly.
Okay.
There's a memory guy, and he just kind of breaks it down by writing the first letter of every word. The
first letter with all the apostrophes and all that stuff. Does that really work?
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
100%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then pretty soon once you've kind of mastered that, you can, it's weird. It just picks up and you can do it faster.
Okay.
And then you're also kind of you're also learning the lines without pre-adding the cadence of how you want to say them.
Right.
Because that hurts, because, you know, acting is reacting and listening. So if you've got the plan of how every word is going to sound, you're defeating your impulses, I guess.
That is a sort of a very tough one to drop, and it's something I have not done. What I'll try and do is I'll learn something, and you can see where the beat should be and what is mildly important and what isn't, and then you can kind of guess. As an adult person, you can kind of guess where other people are going to go, right? You go, oh, that's where they're probably naturally, and then you try and once in a while kind of go the other way. But it's real hard to learn something like a robot. Just
You try tapping your chest with every syllable when you're talking, and then saying the lines, and then you learn them that way. And because you're not going to do the audition like that, so
I mean, maybe.
And you know the lines.
Okay, so that's part of the prep is learning lines. But what else? What else do? You do anything to psych yourself up?
Well, I try to make some choices. I do exactly what you just said. Try to sort of have an idea what I think other people will do. Because certainly there's the script, and because I'm a writer, I'm like, the script is is the tool, right? So there's
you don't think of it as the Bible. You think of it as like a legend on a map.
Yeah, you still have to make all your choices have to be based off of the script. You can't make anything up, right?
Right.
I know there's some people that are like, oh, write a huge backstory about your character, and it's like, but if the information isn't on the page, you're creating something and potentially having false ideas about how you would deliver something based on something you yourself created, not the writer.
Right. Okay. No, so what I was saying was when you were like, oh, I use it as a guide or as a roadmap. I'm like, no, as a writer, I would think you would think the script was the Bible. Like you just go with every word perfectly versus something just to help you get there. Anyway.
Well, I know. No, I the script is your source for finding all the information you need. And if you're lucky enough to get a full script, well, your choices are obviously going to be better. But there's ways, if you take different acting classes, that some of the really good teachers will tell you the little ways of finding information from the script. Here, a lot of the times when Rhonda will send a script, she sends the FYI stuff. Okay. And I know some actors ignore that, and I don't think you should. It's there. It's there as a guide for more information for you to put in for your character.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to know what's happening just before, just after. You know, it is a little funny when you get one of these things and you're like, "Well, it's one line." Okay, great. You know, he has a limp. done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to.
You got nothing.
You also don't have to over milk a lot of this stuff, right?
Mm.
Sometimes it's just getting the information that's needed out. Like if you're in a procedural,
right?
Just a friend of mine was over for Self Tape, and he called it facting. Your job is to get this facts out, so it's facting. But I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh goodness. Okay. Well. So we've discussed auditions. Boop. Put a boop in it. But you've done a lot of schooling, man, haven't you? Did you do 3/4 of a full? What did you do
for school? Like
for acting? For yeah.
Well, like I moved to Vancouver when I was 19 after high school, and I did like a lot of acting classes. And then I was in Langara College at Studio 58 for A and B term, so like a year. And then I left early with the intention of going back and completing my, kind of like when Luke leaves Yoda and he's like, I'm going to go do this thing. And he's like, oh man, you're not finished your schooling. And it kind of wrecked me because I was at that part of theater school where you are kind of broken down. And then all of a sudden I'm gone. And I'm like, I'm a worthless actor. I should never pursue this. Maybe I'll start directing and writing. So I was in, So I was in Australia, and then my focus there shifted to writing and directing. And it was fantastic. I took, so I kept on talking about, I am a director. I want to direct. I want to do this, but not doing anything. Right? Mm-hmm. It's easy to talk about a lot of stuff rather than doing it. And at the time, my girlfriend, she's like, well, there's this guerrilla filmmaking course. You either do it or don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
should I have warned you about that? Should I have warned you about that?
That's weird. I'm like, gosh. So I did this weekend course on filmmaking. And the whole guise was, by the end of this course, you are going to make a movie.
Okay.
And all the stuff he taught me was all the stuff I already knew about filmmaking, except for how to, he talked about how to, and this is in like 99, 2000, he was teaching me how to get self-funded through crowdsourcing sort of.
Okay. That seems like a very important deal in our market anyway, man. Like, you can have an idea, you can write it, you can workshop it, but.
So it was so cool. So anyway, so he taught us all this stuff, and I mean, it was very basic, right? And at the end, he's like, okay, now go make your movies. And we're like, what do you mean? Aren't you going to supply us? He goes, no, I've taught you how to fundraise. I've taught you how to get a script idea. I've taught you how to collect your humans to make this happen. I've taught you where to submit this stuff. Now go make it. It's on you. And he's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's right. It totally is. And
did something come of that, man? Now be careful. I'm going to move us back.
I shot 2 shorts, and thank you. I shot 2 shorts when I was in Australia.
Okay.
And the first one, it was very much like a kindergarten painting, where your mom was proud because you did a thing. But it was a mess, but it was all part of the learning. And I think we need to fail a lot to get good at something.
Mm-hmm.
And the next film was better. It was kind of like a grade 6. It's like, I did something, but it was still like messy. But it was awesome. My fundraising for that one was the movie The Mexican with Julia Roberts and Brad Pitt was coming out.
Okay.
And there was this movie theater that I just went to them and I said, look, if I can get 200 people in here, can you give me the movie tickets for like cheaper? And they're like, okay, if you can, we'll give you $6 a ticket. So I was able to say, okay, so sell a movie ticket, which at the time there was around $15 for you to go to a movie. But now I'm selling it for my fundraiser. You come, you pay $15. The movie theater gets $6. I got the rest of the money. And then we got people to throw in booze and food and that sort of.
Oh, wow. So what did you raise for that second film?
Just under $3,000, I think.
Okay, that's more than enough, man.
Yeah,
That should have been a grade 9 project. What the hell? Grade 6.
Well, the cool thing about it is the people I was working with now have careers. Like, it was in Australia. Like, my editor, she's like a legit. One of the movies she worked on last year was up for an Oscar for documentary. And
Wow.
the cinematographer I had at the time was like 21 years old, and now he's got a career, I think, in Australia and in the States, commercials and pitching studios and stuff. So I mean, they went on to do that. I came back here and attempted a feature that didn't work and was like sad for a long time. So
I can see that after you work.
It was always 20 years ago. Second best time is right now.
Nice. Well, after working with Nicole Kidman, as you did.
No.
Sure. What? Oh, what? No.
I screened their movie.
She's not in The Mexican. That's Julia Roberts.
Didn't I say Julia Roberts?
Yeah, you did. I said Nicole Kidman because you said I got to work with some important Australian people, and that's the only one I can think of at this moment. Naomi something. That's another one.
That. I saw what you did.
They only produce ladies in Australia. That's how much education I've had. Hey, buddy. I've got a where are you? You still there? Are you still with me?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, I mean, I know you can hear me, but
can you
I asked you not to do any gang signs when we were...
Can you hear me, Clint?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. You take a break. I know you're such a sort of a movie buff. Are you also like a TV buff? You know, one of those kind of guys, old TV? A little bit?
Old TV. I'm not... I don't like binging.
Okay.
So I like to kind of savor stuff because then I remember it more, and especially now getting older, it's I want to be able to take it in a little bit, you know.
Oh yeah, man, we're like that. We're like we're watching Toast of London, you know, the Matt Berry thing.
It's like Clem. I'm glad you got it. You brought it up. Subtle.
Well, oh right, Clem Fandango. I always think of
that's how I put it in there. I threw that in.
Oh my God, how did you even? But you know, we watched one, I don't know, it was 2 days ago or something, and then last night Mel's like, "Hey, you want to watch another one?" No, I do not want to watch another one. Why? Because we watched one yesterday. I need 3 days betwixt a good show. You know, if it's something else, I'll watch it. I don't care. But I was actually thinking about like older TV. Is there anything you want to see rebooted, or anything you'd like to be in?
You know, the only thing I remember always kind of wanting to be in a reboot of was Lost in Space. I remember as a young guy, and before the TV show, before the movie with the guy from Friends, I was like, oh man, I'd love to be in Lost in Space, a reboot. And then it happened. I was like, all right.
I could miss it.
And then a TV show happened. I'm like, all right. And it was filmed. Some of it was filmed here. All right. Wasn't in any of it, but that would have been the only one. I was like, that'd be awesome. I don't really
What would you have wanted to play? What would you have wanted to be in that, man?
Oh, anything.
Just any old thing. You should have been in that. I have got some friends who were in, but it's really weird. Like they really focused on the main cast. Like when you're watching the show, you're like, you see like 20 people running, you know, blurry in the back. You're like, that's probably someone I know. You know, even people who had like actual interactions with the actors, you're like, well, those are some hands.
Yeah.
Those are probably Canadian hands. Calgary hands, I should say. Well, anything else other than Lost in Space? Because it's been done and then done.
Well, I look at like reboots now. I don't know. Maybe it's time to have a good Barney Miller reboot.
Oh yeah, man. Be old enough to play fish.
Yeah. Oh, you know, there is one I'd love to play if there's a reboot of a TV show. Jim Rockford Files. I'd love that. I'd love to play because I'm old now and a little out of shape. And it's funny.
I can't reach the DVD, but I've got like literally the DVD of the first season. It's like that thick somewhere just out of my damn somewhere here. The music, Mike Post, that music starts and like the show was just, it was photographed, like the you know, the cold open or whatever. It's like just photographs, and then you just hear how broke down he is. The announcement. You know?
I love it. Other than that, I mean, there's so many good ideas out there from humans that, you know, they don't become TV shows. And it's like, well, maybe it's stop digging from the well and just go with something new. certainly, I think like when people redo a classic movie, I'm like, well, there's bad movies out there that would have been classics if they did a few different things. So reboot those.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'd
do
love to
wonder
see
about
Time
that.
Rider redone. Let's do
Which
redo
one?
Time Rider. Remember?
No, I
The guy
don't. I mean, why
on
is
the
that so
motorbike,
vaguely? Who was what?
goes back in time.
Is that just it, the Time Rider, or was it like something the Time Rider?
No, just
Was
Time
it?
Rider.
Oh man, no, I'm not getting it. You know, but like Dreamscape, and I mean, I was all over those films. I should know that one. When you
Dreamscape, the one with the little old man riding the tricycle down that dirty highway.
maybe,
I don't know.
maybe. I was thinking when you said motorbikes, I was thinking of Maximum Force. I think that's what it was. It was on the back of a comic book. I never wanted to see something more in my life because they had an advert. I think it's Barry Bostwick, that actor, but he was young and he had like a beard and the whole thing. They had these motorbikes that were clearly just they put plastic on top of them to make them look cool. So anytime they moved around, like the motorbikes were just these soft, weird things.
Right.
Meh. Do you have something going on with that plant? Is that plant talking to you, brother? Do you need a meditation? Do you need a timeout meditation, or are you getting business?
No. I have security cameras right here, so I was just looking at because stuff going on, and you kind of go, what's going on?
Are you in charge of also security there? Like, what is? Do you have a flashlight?
I have like a ring full of keys.
Okay, like Dwayne Schneider.
Like Schneider, yeah, 100% like Schneider.
Thank you.
They rebooted that. That's good. They did a good job.
Oh, I think I might know that, but I haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. We watch a lot of English stuff, man, because the better half, she's like one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, real British. And so, yeah, we watch a lot of English TV. I'm gonna tick that off, saying we talked about reboots.
Right.
Hey, are you still studying acting wise? Are you one of those? You got like a coach or anything out there?
Sorry?
Do you have a coach or anything?
I don't, but I do like subscribe to mentorship. And it was a few years ago, I took like a weekend workshop with a teacher out of Vancouver called Matthew Harrison. He's Actors Foundry Group. And I met some like-minded humans here, and we just decided to kind of form our own group. And for a while, we would rent spaces at Evergreen and have a weekly sesh where we just practiced and worked on the craft.
Wow. Okay. Now, is this pre-COVID or?
Yeah, 100%. And now when it comes to like doing self-tapes, certainly there's a group of humans that I'll work with, and then we kind of work together on building the character and then making sure that all the technical aspects of the audition look good. And
so what does that cost? Is there a cost? Do they have to wash your car or something? What do they got to do for that? Is it gratis?
With my posse, I do.
Do you need a minute?
One of the things I do is self tapes.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
And there's a cost, but I'm sort of. I don't live in the city, so it's a business that is something I'm not really growing or want to. It's also hard once you.
So whereabouts are you, if you don't mind?
I'm just by Bragg Creek.
Okay. Yeah. I'll pretend I can get there by via scooter, but I can't.
But yeah, it's I love it. I love actors are fantastic to me. I like seeing people that work, and I don't feel it's competition so much when there's other humans auditioning for the same things here. I really actually like seeing people on TV and on movies that I know. It's actually pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome too when working sometimes stand-in on shows, and then seeing a lot of local talent book. I prefer to see local talent book than I prefer to see people from Vancouver or Toronto.
Oh yeah, of course. And you probably do the stand-in really well, where you will actually know the part of the guy you're standing in as well. We have the script there. Will you if an actor needs to work some shit out will you be there to help run lines and things too?
It's never happened. Never happened.
It's never happened. What?
Never. I think they have their own process. They're there to do a job, so I don't. Aside from somebody like giving you a tap, tagging you in, asking you how your day was, there's not a lot of communication.
Okay, dude. Because I remember you were doing stand-in, and some other chappie, who I don't know his name. I've seen his face a bit, and I remember I needed to go over some stuff.
Oh no, that's different, dude. That's when I saw you on Tin Star. That's different because you're a friend. So yeah.
Okay, because he had the script, and I'm like, hey man, do you mind saying the lines? And then I just kept doing. I thought you guys were nice.
No. That's because you're a friend. Like any of my friends on set, it can be nerve-wracking.
But it's never happened with like a real actor.
No, the most is, real actor. The most is when I was working on Under the Banner.
Okay.
Sam Worthington, I would be there as their lighting man. He didn't leave. He hung around, right, and got to know the location. He'd come up and he'd just stare at me, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." Right. And then he'd turn around and go, "What lens are you using?" And they'd say, "Oh, we're on the 50 mil," and he'd go, "Okay." And then he'd watch how the light would hit me, so he'd know how it would hit him, which I thought was like awesome. The only other time as a stand-in we were used as pre-visualization tools was on The Revenant. But The Revenant's a whole different story because we were there like a month before the actors. Working the camera, walking through the woods so that they knew exactly how they were going to do all the transitions. It's actually a really good experience as an actor because you get to kind of figure out how to move in front of a camera. What's needed to look natural in front of a camera. And it certainly does help you get very comfortable. That one of the scariest things is when it's your first or second time having a couple lines on a television or movie, and all the cameras there and the crew's there, and it can be overwhelming. And if you've done background or if you've done stand-in, you've been there, you've seen it, so you're a little bit alleviated of that sort of stress.
Interesting. I've never done stand-in before. I did get once called up for, I think, what was it called? Oh, I forgot. But anyway, it was the Life of Pi actor was in it, and they shot some of it over here. It had something to do with the Himalayas or maybe not Mongolia or something. Yeah, Burn Your Mouth. That's it. Somehow someone got a hold of me and they were like, hey, are you like between this and this and whatever? And it turned out the guy was like 55 pounds, maybe just a half an inch taller than me. And I was like, I am 155 pounds if I stand sideways. Like, okay. Right? Yeah. I don't know how to, like, yeah. So you give that man a 50-pound backpack and then we'll talk.
Right.
That's the closest I ever came to doing stand-in. It's funny, a buddy of mine got called to do stand-in for, I guess I can say it, for Ghostbusters. And he kind of flew in. They checked him out. They're like, no, you can't do it. He was 1 inch too tall or 1 inch too short or something. They're like, we're not doing it. And he's like, okay. And then he left. And then they called him back to body double one of the actors. And it blew my mind that you were good enough to actually be on screen playing a dude, but off screen for lighting or whatever else nonsense, no.
Like, it blows my mind that they were sort of brought in to.
Yeah, but it just the things that make sense and the things that don't make sense with film, man, it's all over the board. Anyway, where the heck are we? Hey, we're at the 44.0 mark. That's the closest I'm going to be to Chris Walken in this entire. Just so you. I didn't mean to do it. I'm going to burn through these questions rapid fire. How's that? Because, you're on your lunch break, man.
Yeah.
Even though you're on a liquid diet, like my mom used to when she was still with us. Where are we? Hey, do you use music to get into character?
100%.
Hey, done. Okay.
Dude, I did a playlist. It's just in Ties That Bind.
Okay.
And my character had to go through so many different sort of emotional journey, as it were. So I did a playlist of what that looked like, so that I would be able to access it very quickly.
Very nice. Now, did you have that playlist just on like a little iPod or something? You could just like boop,
Just
listen to it and pull it out?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah? You just before takes, maybe get into it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, what kind of shooting was how many days were you on there?
Oh gosh, 17, I think was my 17 to 18.
Lord, that feels like the whole thing.
Yeah.
It feels like the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah. It's a great experience. I think James,
Mr. James Rexedler.
yeah, a fantastic human. And I look forward to seeing more. Like, it's like, this one's not even finished. It's not even done editing, but I look forward to seeing more and more of what he's going to have. So
Very nice. Did he play any music for you guys? Because he is a very, very talented musician.
He did for me because I'd asked him.
Okay. Okay. I just wonder if there's any downtime on the set. He would just get out. Hey. Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a 2-minute break and I'll be back?
I mean, you go ahead. I'm going to remove you from cart. Okay. Well, this has never happened before on the show, but it's very cool. So Lonnie's a busy human, and he's off doing other things. So let's talk about James Rexedler for a second. That dude got me in my very first production in this country. What the heck was it called? Oh my goodness. It was a short film. It was made in like 2007 or 8. And I played a guy named Mr. Fiji. Probably set in the 30s. It was black and white. I had to be shirtless, painted up my face. You could have put a bone through my nose. It was that type of character. But it was a lot of fun. I know Lonnie was talking about walking on camera. And I had a devil of a time trying to walk on camera. You have to walk on camera and answer a phone, and someone was yelling at you. There was another actor on that show. His name was Mark. I wish I could remember his last name. But he was on a CBC show, and he stayed to yell at me on the phone. Brilliant. Hey, we're just talking about James as one of his early films. Oh, I can't remember what the hell it was called, man. But it's the first thing I ever did.
You know how Actra, in the newsletter, oftentimes they'll new and older Actra members will have, see how out of shape I am?
Do you want to just take a second?
They'll ask people like, who do you want to work with?
Okay.
And I think pretty soon you're going to see James's name on the bottom of the list from.
Very nice. He did actually make a short version of this film, or a little piece of Ties That Bind. He made that. I don't remember what it was called. I definitely played a hockey guy in it on the bench being yelled at by his father, who was actually a hockey coach. That was great.
And he was a mayor of a small town where we shot.
Yes.
That was amazing. Like the town itself opened itself up to us, and it was big signs saying that we were shooting and welcome, and it was
welcome and hush. Welcome and hush.
It was like being a little taste of what a celebrity probably gets, because we're in this small town shooting a movie, and everybody knows, right?
Right.
So you go to a bar, they all know. Oh, and you're doing this, and it was magical. It was a fantastic experience. We were also all the cast was put up at a lodge, a small lodge. So we were, had this nice communal area to kind of spend some time with each other and get to know each other and rehearse. And it's a great experience.
Awesome. No weird sort of blurring of the lines or anything happening. With characters. So back in the day, I did a lot of extra stuff, and you'd sort of do army films, and then you'd have like the army in black would sit and eat over here, and the army in red would sit, and there would be no.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the characters in that show, how would you walk down a hallway and see someone you're supposed to hate and be like, oh hey, let's break bread and whatever? I wonder if there was any weirdness with that.
Not with this show, because it was basically, it's a family show. It's not necessarily, it's not PG. I'm not saying it's PG. I'm saying it's about a family. So
okay.
even within a family dynamic, if you have some problems,
right, you still have to sit down and whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. But we did. We shot something in L.A. a couple years ago, and it was they just rented out a house, and you lived in the house, and then you acted, and then you went back, and you stayed in the house, and it got real weird, personal, friendly, weird.
Super windy in Lethbridge.
Okay, so you just can't get that friendly.
No, that was a joke. You said L.A., so I was doing Lethbridge, Alberta.
Yeah. All right. Hey man, we're getting close to it. We're getting real close to it.
You had some more rapid fire questions before I had
sure. Family in the arts?
Yes.
Okay. More clarify?
Well, I mean, my mom was always
seamstress.
My mom's a seamstress, and she is a hairdresser.
Okay.
My middle brother's a tattoo artist. Oh, there's Ryan Northcott.
Yeah, so he wrote to us, and look at that hair. That's got to be a headshot. What? That's not just a normal.
No, Ryan's hair is perfect. Sorry.
All the time? Yeah, I don't believe you. That's a headshot. Look at the background. The come hither look. He's off the screen. Get him out of here. Hey, Ryan, former guest.
Yeah, he's amazing. It's fantastic. He's also would be on the list of the actor things where people are like, oh, I'd like to work with him.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Okay. Family in the arts. One of the brothers.
My middle brother is a tattoo artist, and my oldest brother is a professional wrestler.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's in the entertainment business. Hey, what do you do in your downtime, man?
It's hard again because you're scrapping to make a living in the arts. The downtime is infrequent.
Okay.
Movies.
Are you making a living in the arts?
For the most part, I mean, I
that.
right now I'm working at an arts-based building, looking after things. So, but yeah, for the most part, through corporate acting, standing in, acting, that sort of thing.
Right. No, I love that.
I mean, it's a small living.
Right. Oh, hey, we got another one. Look at this. Look at this, old Matty.
Hey, Matt.
Old Matty Waterworth. Now that is not a headshot.
And Matt,
that's just a fun shot.
I've seen his name on the Actra who people want to work with.
Oh, yeah. He was one of those guys that I worked with before he started, and then never again, and that's fine. Where are we? Hey, is there a character or a role you wouldn't want to do? You wouldn't want to touch?
Wouldn't I? I don't want to ever play a Nazi.
But you got the looks, buddy. You got those lovely Aryan looks.
Right.
Boom. Matt's back on the board.
Yeah, I just don't think I want to. So.
You don't think you could bring some pathos to that? Or what about just dying horribly and people like, yeah. Pff,
no.
You filthy Nazi? No?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'd like to see some.
I remember that I turned down an audition for a Kevin Sorbo movie because I don't believe in his policies. So whatever that movie was, I was actually very comfortable turning it down.
Amazing. Dude, that is amazing. A long time ago, I decided I'd stop playing terrorists.
Yeah.
Someone reached out to me with a greenlit project. It was in Vancouver. I had no business turning it down, but I'm just like, no. And I kind of realized, I thought, until I've heard this just now, I thought, oh, that's Matt again. Look at that. Look at that. He's a huge Hercules fan, though. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, why am I being mean to that guy? I love him, too.
When I say turn down, I turned down the audition.
No, of course. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I turned down a part.
Yeah.
I did. I turned down a part. But, but I came to realize then that, I'm not professional. I'm being some sort of petulant child. And there's going to be all these people who work on that film. Or work with people you shouldn't work with, as you're saying with Sorbo. You're like, it wouldn't gel. I don't care for it. I'm out. There's going to be a ton of people and friends of ours who are going to work on that film, and I'm thinking more from the technical aspect. And I realized, those technical people, the people behind the camera doing they are professional people. They're just doing their damn job. They don't care about who the person is. They don't care about, they can divorce themselves, go home, have a shower, and just, but me as an actor, I'm like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's, I
I
love
think
that.
like when it came up to the Sorbo, it's just his stances on a lot of things directly hurts a lot of humans I know. So it's like,
Okay.
don't want to put my name in for any other running for that sort of stuff. And I'm very comfortable doing it. And I think we have that power and we have that right as a performer to be able to make those decisions.
I am a little embarrassed that I was made to do a bullshit Indian accent on a comedy show out here, and they kept making me go higher and higher. And I went like at one point I'm like, I sound like King Julian on that again. I can't go. I can't do any more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but I did 3 to get I did 3 to get there, and that's embarrassing. They shouldn't have asked.
They shouldn't have.
They shouldn't have asked. Yeah, but anyway. Lucky to be in the room. Comedies or dramas, man?
Oh, dude.
Which ones do you hate more?
I like them both. So there's no hate. There's
all right,
and I kind of like the marriage of dramedy. Where there's a mixture of comedy.
That's a camel, a dromedary.
A lot of the stuff that I write is kind of got some punch to it in the drama area. But it's mostly comedy. So
word of mouth, how would you describe that as what split? 80-20?
That's just comedy. I don't know.
Okay. Drama in there. Okay. Brother, I think literally we're at the end of my questions.
Awesome.
And my nerve. I'm up to here with you. That's how I feel.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys. I mean,
what else? Hey, what's on your notes?
I've got like to shout out Ties That Bind, to shout out. I produced with Ryan Northcott and Eric Giesbrecht their Ryan's film Going Down.
I know Eric. That's a loaded title.
Yeah, and it's a great project that we'll see soon. Ryan's a fantastic director to work with too. I think. People might just see him as an actor, but he's stepping up the director game, and you'll probably see him do bigger things very soon.
Very nice.
We talked about
don't rush.
You said notes, and that's
no. I'm saying get to your notes. I want you to say what you want to say.
Just writing projects. The mentorship that's out in this province is amazing. There's so many fantastic humans that are willing to sit down and talk.
Where do we find those? Like on an Actra website or something? Where do the kids find those old goats?
I think by going out, like being social. I mean, COVID certainly kicked a lot of that, but there's a lot of organizations. Calgary Society of Independent Film. Mm-hmm. You have M Media. You have Quick Draw. You have Alberta Playwrights. You have, to name a few. Is it Fava in Edmonton?
Okay.
There's so many places, and there's so many good people out there.
And I would also say reach out to any of these people, groups, organizations, because even if you know what you're doing, or you think you know what you're doing, or whatnot, it always helps to have that thing behind you, man. One, sure, you're going to learn something, but you know what I mean? You don't go there. You don't get any of this success by being by yourself. Go there with an army.
And I think too is as soon as we stop thinking there's a competition between us and others, you'll just build your community, and once you build your community, it's pretty awesome as far as how people will put you on their shoulders sometimes.
All right, awesome. Okay, man. I don't know. Is there anything left for you to accomplish? You got anything left?
No, I'm just still writing, and at some point want to get some of these made. Okay. So it's kind of focusing a lot on that. I mean, it's harder once you kind of get older, certainly. And there's a time when the market we're in, there's a time when you have to think, is the market I'm in right now the right market for me? So looking at the bigger career picture.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll keep our eyes out and see where you land and in what capacity. But yeah, hopefully, like a cat, right on all your feet. Hey man, there's only one thing I like less than the intro, and it's the outro. But you know, I should say thank you so much for doing this, taking time out of your lunch.
Thank you.
And when we do stop going live, just hang out just for another minute. Usually Gary's around, and then he apologizes for me for some damn thing to the guests. But we're not doing that with you because, well, I know you. Okay, so thank you, Lonni.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And okay. Guys, thank you so much for watching Talent Talk. See, I'm going right to the camera now. This is for you.
I forgot I was going to do that the whole show.
Oh, go ahead.
This is
what you want to say thanks again?
I was looking at you the whole time. It's weird. It's probably...
But that's how we have to do it. Anyway, guys, thank you again for joining me on Talent Talk. Next week, you're going to have your regular guest, Mr. Gary McLean, and he's going to be talking to some fine, shiny human. Do I know who it is? Of course. Why are you talking?
You said guest, your regular host.
Did I? No, I said he's going to be talking to some fine, shiny guest.
You said he's your regular guest. So you want to say Gary is back in the host seat.
You know what? I'm going to go off live, and broadcast. F you, Lonni. Thanks, guys. Take care.